T.O., what do you got to say, man? You called this. You called Miami over Auburn. You called that upset. Miami was by far, unquestionably the better team tonight. They advanced with I don't even know what the score was. It was like 70. I think they won by 18 points. Was it 79-61? Isaiah Wong had 21. Like, what a performance from the Hurricanes. Talk to me. Talk your shit. Talk your shit, T.O.
I will talk a good amount of shit. But I think the big thing to take away is Miami's guards are as elite as we've been saying the entire time. Charlie Moore only took 8 shots, but he still had 15, 9, and 8. Like, that dude's really, really good. Now, he's like a lot of other guys. I think this is his 6th or 7th year. Like, that's such an advantage this season for guys who've gotten guys like Charlie Moore, who are very, very good college players that just couldn't make the jump because of size or because of whatever has been the case. But, man, Charlie Moore is really tough. The guy that's just so impressive in my eyes is Isaiah Wong, because he was 8 of 18, but I'm willing to bet that 6 or 7 of those 8 makes were hard as shit, because they just have guys that can make. He's a guy that can make shots over high hands. And this Auburn team, we've been dogging the backcourt. And yet here was Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith combining for 3 of 22. We wanted them to get the ball. They got the ball. They laid an egg, and it is what it is. This is an Auburn team that's been in flux as of late. It doesn't really seem like they've been connected ever since probably the beginning of February. And you saw it tonight. But what a performance today by Miami. They still didn't shoot the ball really well. Ended up only 3 of 15 from 3, but it doesn't matter. They are the mid-range maestros. Are the Hurricanes.
You know what it is? Their ability to force turnovers and create havoc and have Sam Wardenberg at the rim. Like, Sweeney, I did not realize how good of a rim protector he was and what that allowed them to be able to be defensively.
Right. Well, they've struggled this year defensively all year. I mean, it is no secret they're well outside the top 100 in Ken Palm, but
they gamble, right? They gamble. So
and today they gambled more than they usually do. Like, I think they knew coming into the day that if you lined it up and let Walker Kessler catch the ball on the block, you let Jabari Smith catch it clean, like, it's going to be a long day. And so we might as well, throw the house at them, see if we can confuse, disrupt, and just, hope for the best. And I think it helps, again, that you have older guys there defensively, because you have guys who made those calculated risks before. I mean, look, Cam Auguste is 2 years and a day older than me. Charlie Moore is 18 months older than me. I get I'm not the oldest guy, but like, I'm a college graduate with a full-time job. Like, these guys are old dudes. I mean, these guys have been around the block in college basketball. They've experienced it all. It's poetic for Charlie Moore that he's heading back to the city of Chicago to go play in the Sweet 16. It's very, very cool. But look, yeah, you're absolutely right. They gambled a lot. They won a lot of those gambles. Took it away 13 times, which was huge against an Auburn team that, they were going to have trouble stopping. And they got some luck, right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, if Auburn made 12 threes like they're capable of doing, this is a whole
hold on. The only lucky team in college basketball is Providence. Let's just get that out there.
Yeah. The sideburns, they came out of nowhere. Unsolicited prior burns.
No, well, we talked about Providence last night, man. I love that story. I think they match up well with Kansas. I think that is we'll get into that later, but I think that's one of the most interesting matchups we have in the Sweet 16. Why I want to know, T.O., like, why were you so confident in Miami? Like, what is it about you? What is it about them that allowed you to say, okay, they were so inconsistent during the regular season, and I'm going to come out here and I'm going to pick them to go to the Elite Eight? Like, what was it about that team that made you buy?
You can scheme and scheme and scheme all you want, but in the end, all they're doing is isolating guys, and those guys are getting buckets. And when you have 3 guys that can make something happen off the dribble, and Sam Wardenberg, who opens up the floor for them, like, he didn't take a whole lot of shots today, but he's a good enough shooter. What is he, 37, 38 from 3 or something like that? Like, he's a quality. All you have to do is just have the threat of being a shooter. And Isaiah Wong, I've seen that guy enough in person to where if he gets to his right hand, you can forget it. Cam Auguste has shown flashes of brilliance. This year, he's finally been healthy. And Charlie Moore is the perfect unselfish piece for that roster. I love that team, and their 4 men are really athletic. I just feel like you can scheme and scheme and scheme, but those dudes are still going to be dudes no matter what. And then Auburn's weakness this season has been guard play. And then what is Miami's strength is guard play. Guards win in the NCAA tournament, especially big physical guards that can create.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the other game in that region. Iowa State was another offensive rebound for TCU. Iowa State was the 11th seed. They knocked off Wisconsin in one of the ugliest basketball games in the history of the sport, but they got it done. Johnny Davis did not look like himself. I feel very confident in saying that he is not, whatever the injury was, the ankle, foot, whatever you want to call it. He was not the guy that he was earlier in the season from a health perspective. So unfortunate for Wisconsin. I was, he was a guy that could have been a lot of fun. But what Iowa State, Sweeney, was picked last by every single coach in the Big 12. Every single coach in the Big 12 picked them last in the conference. They ended up winning 19 games in the regular season. They went 7-11 in Big 12 play, and they are now in the Sweet 16. What did Otts do? What did TJ do to get this thing figured out?
Well, I think he brought in a lot of guys with a chip, right? I mean, this team understands that it's not perfect, that it understands that it's not loaded with stars. It doesn't have egos. It has guys that go out there and work, right? I mean, those guys knew that they were probably going to have to keep Wisconsin under 60 points to win today. Just like they knew they were going to probably have to keep LSU under 60 points. I mean, there's no secret to what Iowa State's doing. They're grinding teams out, and they're hoping that one of their three really good guards can make big plays, right? And today it was Kalsher. It's been Brockington in the past. It was Hunter against LSU. Like, they have three guards who can make plays, and they've got guys who just buy into their role, and they grit and grind and just find ways to win. And I give them a lot of credit. I mean, look, a lot of these guys' journeys are just like unbelievable. I mean, look, you've got Caleb Grill on this team who has followed TJ Otzelberger to the depths of the universe. I mean, for every school in the world that TJ Otzelberger has been at, Caleb Grill said, I'd like to follow. You've got Brockington, was originally committed to NJIT, then goes to St. Bonaventure, spends 2 years at Penn State, deals with the COVID stuff and a coach firing, and winds up here. Like, these are the unwanted misfits of college basketball. And here they are on the Sweet 16. It's an awesome story.
Well, there's a lot of guys that would love Isaiah Brockington right now. Goodness me. Like, wasn't he? He was a defensive guy at Penn State, right? Like, he was an all-league defender. I thought he did a terrific job today. He's just like you said, Sweeney, bunch of tough dudes, chip on their shoulder. I'm going to stop you. I had a feeling coming into the game that Brockington was going to feel like, hey man, this is a good chance for me to show that I can go up against one of the best perimeter players in the country and lock him down. And whatever injury that Johnny Davis does have, or however bad it is, you still got to go out there and do it. And I thought there was going to be one of these, not a fluke game per se, but hey man, he's hurt. It's really bad. You find out it's bad later, and he still goes for 20 because he gutted it out. Isaiah Brockington wasn't having that nonsense. And like you said, tough bunch of physical dudes.
Here's the incredible thing about Iowa State this season, or in this game. Tyrese Hunter and Brockington are like their two guys, and they were 5 for 25 and 0 for 4 from 3. Like, they were not good. They were not good tonight. They had more turnovers than they did made field goals, and that's never a good combination of things to do. Gabe Kalsher all year long has been the guy, Sweeney, that we've been like, hey, you know what? If he ever finds a way to get it going, this Iowa State team might be kind of dangerous. He shot like 40% his freshman year from Minnesota. I remember watching Gabe because I did a big story on Trey Jones and Tyus Jones and that family at Peach Jam in 2017, maybe. And Gabe Kalsher was on the same AAU team as them. And I believe that that Brad Davison came from the Howard Pulley, the same program. And I remember watching him.
Those guys,
yeah, all those guys. Like, that team was loaded, man. That team was so good. But I remember Gabe Kalsher like just draining threes nonstop, and I was like, "Yo, this kid is going to be really good for Minnesota." And he goes out and shoots 40% as a freshman, and then like he just completely forgets how to shoot. He starts putting up Rob Doster numbers from beyond the arc, and it was nice to see him get it going because like when that kid is playing well and making shots, he's a really, really dangerous player. And that changed things for him. He took 19 shots today. He took 19 shots.
He's had some,
and it was cooking in the mid-range too. It was all mid-range.
Yeah, he's had some good games for them. If I remember correctly, I think he exploded against Memphis earlier this season. Of course, I think everybody did. But they've got good players. It's just a matter of you know, you got to get one of them right. You got to probably score 65 points to win their next game.
All right, so let's talk about it. We got Iowa State and we got Miami coming up. T.O., you are the Hurricane Whisperer. Talk to me about this matchup.
I am. The only thing that worries me is like all 5 guys or all 3 or 4 perimeter players are really going to have to guard because Miami has so many guys that can make it happen. Like, and they'll just pick on a guy. Like, it's almost like the NBA where Paul Pierce has a mismatch and you just stop what you're doing. And then they just throw him the ball and let him go to work. That's kind of what Miami does now, obviously in a different effect. But at the same time, having so many different guys that can play make is the big issue. I have them winning. Now, Iowa State, I understand the intrigue. The offensive firepower isn't where it is compared to Miami. And the thing is you can scheme all you want. Nance is going to scheme. He's going to scheme. Those Miami dudes are still going to be able to make shots. And I don't know that Iowa State's going to be able to make enough shots to keep up with Miami.